What's up guys, welcome back to another daily outlook. In these daily outlooks I will go over my main pairs and analyze a chart with you guys and see what I'm looking for today. So let's begin with the DXY, and as you can see on the daily we are bullish, took liquidity, and we are now fighting between this demand and this supply zone. So we are now looking if price is going to respect the supply and we trade down lower, or if price is going to respect the demand zone and we will trade up higher in towards this open supply. So for that I will go ahead and look at the 4 hour to see what it is doing. First of all, we are swing bearish, but after breaking structure and seeing some confirmation, you could expect a pullback in towards that blue line, the premium prices, or the 0.5 FIB. So as you can see, once we broke this high, we now have this demand which is in control. You can also see over here that we failed to break the low, this low. So what happened, instead of breaking the low, we respected the low, and now I think we could trade up higher. So what I would like to see is a clean break of structure above this high, and then I will be looking for longs in towards that open daily supply. Like I said yesterday, you can very clearly see that we now wicked perfectly under that daily open. For the guys that watched my market outlook yesterday, I said, okay, this night we moved up, so the daily open was still open over here. So what could I expect? A wick below that daily open to swipe everybody, and then we could move up higher. And as you can see, it played out perfectly. But for now, I'm just waiting for another swipe of the high, just to be sure, because as you can see, we're kind of in a range, so we could also just dump down lower. So I want to see a break of structure above this high, and then I know that we'll be ready to go and look for longs. So what does that mean for EURUSD? Going to the daily, you can see that we are bearish, of course, right? So our swing is bearish, and we could then trade down lower. What can we see? We don't take liquidity above this high, right? We still have some liquidity left, and we failed to break that high one and a second time. So for now, I think because we failed to break the high, we need some more fuel under the lows, and then we can possibly trade up higher. So if I go over to the 4 hour, what can I see? That we have an open demand over here, and that there are a lot of lows open under these liquidity lows. So what can I expect? Yesterday we took all of this liquidity above this high, and then we broke the 4 hour fractal low. So what do we have now? So first we took liquidity above the high. Then what happened is we broke the 4 hour fractal low over here, which means that we now created this supply zone, which is now in control, and this could push price down lower in towards those liquidity lows and at open demand. But yeah, why am I looking for shorts? Because we are 4 hour bullish, right? So now we created a nice high. So because it took lots of liquidity and it broke structure, so this is a nice supply zone which could push price down lower. Keep in mind, guys, we still have 1, 2, and this is still a third high open. But for now, I first want to see those lows go, because we failed to break the high. So we take fuel or liquidity under the lows, and then after confirmation, we could be ready to trade above the high. So when I go over to the 1 hour, I really want to see some confirmation happen inside this 4 hour supply, this. And what do I want to see? Maybe a swipe of Asia or something like that then some good confirmation, a strong break of structure, and then I will be ready to short in towards these lows. So going over to GBPUSD, looking at the daily, you can see that we are now inside this demand, which is in control, and we could just push up higher, right, with the order flow. So we have this demand zone. As you can see, we got a small wick in there, and then we had this demand zone, and then now we have this demand zone, which is in control, and we could trade up higher to take out those highs and then trade in towards that supply zone. So going over to the 4-hour, you can see that there's a lot of liquidity being created under the lows, but we also have that bullish order flow. We are respecting the lows, so I will not look for any shorts unless, for example, we clearly break under this low, and then I would be ready to maybe possibly look for shorts, but it depends on what the DXY is doing, and of course what the DXY is doing. So going over to AUD itself, like I said yesterday, I was looking for a break under this low, which happened, and then I was looking for a retracement in towards that weekly open and then short. But once, like I said, we could have just dumped down lower, which also happened. So now we are inside this demand, and I think that we could maybe grab some liquidity under this low and then also trade in that 50% level, and then it would be really nice to go long in towards the highs again, because as you can see, there's some trend line liquidity being created. So going over to EURAUD then, what can I see? We still have some liquidity open over here at these highs. So I'm going to draw that down, and I can see that we have a refined supply zone over here with also the yearly open. So we could maybe expect a move up and then a possible move down in towards this demand zone. Okay. So what I'm now waiting for is exactly this supply zone to get hit. So I'm going to put my alert on this supply zone, and then I will be ready to look for further shorts. Am I going to look for longs? No, because we just took liquidity, so we could get a reaction, and look, we are high in the lag, so we could first get a reaction once again and then trade up higher. So yeah, not looking at any longs at the moment. I'm also not looking at any longs from this demand zone. Why is that? Because we still have that liquidity and that higher time frame demand, which we could then just trade in towards, right? So I'm just waiting for those shorts or those longs. Boom, boom, or boom, boom. So going over to GBPAUD, you can now see that we will swipe this high. Or not yet, but that's what I'm waiting for. And after we swipe the high, I think we could expect a small short in towards maybe this demand zone or possibly even this demand zone. And from there, I think we can just trade up higher, because if you look at the daily, you can see that the daily order flow is bullish and that we will be trading inside this demand once we break that high, right? So we grab liquidity, so we can expect a move, possibly in that monthly open, and from there we could move up again in line with the trend and with that bullish order flow. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. And as I can see right now, we also have a daily supply over here, so definitely looking at shorts once we take out that liquidity high. Okay, going over to CAD itself, you can see on the 4-hour that we grabbed liquidity under these lows. We tapped in towards that yearly open, but we still have this demand open. So possibly I'm still expecting a swipe to swipe those early buyers, and then after confirmation we could then trade up higher and take those liquidity highs out. But for now it's not valid to go long because this demand is still open, so waiting for that to get hit. So going over to EURCAD, you can see that we grabbed liquidity above this high like I mentioned yesterday in my market outlook. And now we got another fractal break in towards the downside. So we could expect some shorts, right? Of course, keep in mind guys, we are still swing bullish. But if you look at the daily, like I explained, we are now inside this supply zone, and this supply zone also took liquidity above the high. So this could be a supply zone which could give us a reaction maybe towards this demand. Okay, so what I'm now looking for is on the 1 hour maybe a sort of liquidity grab above the highs, maybe even above this high, trading towards that monthly open, and then some confirmation, and then I might be ready to look for shorts, but I have to see if we get a lot of bearish momentum, because otherwise we could just move up higher again. But I will keep you guys updated in my update channel. So going over to gold, as I say every market outlook, there's basically nothing to trade here because we're at the all-time high, so we could just dump down lower because we don't know what's on the left. But we could also trade up higher because with all that bullish momentum. But what can I see right now? That we are slowing down with the bullish momentum, and we could trade down lower. So if I have this supply zone thrown out, and as you can see, we take liquidity above the high, so it's a nice high in my opinion. And then what can I see? That we created a new supply zone. So I think that if we get a retracement in towards this supply, boom, 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 and some confirmation, then I would maybe be ready to look for shorts, possibly in towards this amount and these liquidity lows. So keeping my eye out for this. But that was it guys. I hope you liked it, and see you in the next one. Ciao.